Hello to my beautiful coven members. If I look a little extra tonight actually, it's 11:30 at night on a is it Tuesday? I believe no, it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. I just finished up a photo shoot because your vamp is getting back on stage. I'm getting back on stage. It's been so long. While I talk to you, I'm actually gonna take down the set that I was working with, and we're gonna have a frank conversation. That I wanted to have this conversation during Pride Month, but to be honest with you, I got so in my head about it that I just couldn't do it. So now we're just gonna do it now while it's on the top of my mind, and it's loose. I mean, it's loose. It's late, and I'm feeling loose, and let's just talk. Let's just talk. So make sure that you have some tea or whatever. I'm going to be sipping on this water here, and let's talk about a few things. Right. So the big elephant, the big thing that I'm looking forward to this July is getting back on stage. It has been about, oh God, maybe 8 years since I've last been on stage. If you don't know, I am a drag queen. I am a burlesque artist, and every once in a while I fancy myself a singer. One of those multi-hyphenate types. And I really thrived, and I loved doing drag so much. But when I moved down here to Arkansas, making sure I'm not disclosing too much information about myself, I just ended up, it wasn't accessible to me anymore because I was living out of my car. I didn't have all the access to all of my gear all the time. And quite frankly, I just didn't have the connection that I had when I was living in Missouri, where I started. So I just kind of fell out of it. I fell out of the routine. I fell out of the circles. You know, my beautiful queer family felt so far away from me, and I was a little wayward. You know, I found performance because I'm a big performer in general. Obviously, to be doing all this stuff, you have to be. I found myself engaging in performance when I was doing my adult work. And I'm not going to talk to you too much about that, except the relevant information for you is that this gave me an outlet to get into all of the glam, all of the ruse that made me feel, there is an element of this that makes me feel complete as a human. And I was really missing that by not being able to perform on the stage. Years pass, I get out of my adult career. I am further and further separated from the part of me that loves performance and uses performance as a way to express myself. And, you know, life kind of happens. And I'm kind of just becoming this, like, shell of a person who put on this, like, attire, this costume. I always referred to all of this as a costume, and it never made sense to anybody but me, because to everybody else they just thought it was me, but to me it felt like a costume. But I didn't really understand that yet because I didn't understand what this was to me. I'm hoping this is making sense to the right people that it should be making sense to. Anyway, I've become a shell, a very beautifully dressed shell, and with no idea about who I was outside of performance and outside of this shell. Because for context, and one thing that I will always preach to anybody that decides they want to get into performance or anything art related, where maybe you're going to be in a public face, you better have a stage name. You better get a pseudonym. You better get a persona of some sort, because I did not have a stage name. So everything that everybody thought I was whatever I was on the stage. And because I was so young when I had started all of this, I didn't have a fully fleshed identity yet. I believed I was everything that I was on stage. And not that there was anything wrong with that person, but that meant that my identity was 2D. It was very flat. It had nothing, it wasn't authentic. It was all a ruse. It was all a show. It was all a performance, because that's what a good performer does. They perform. and I was really good at performing. I was just not very good at being a person. And as I begin to, reconcile with this, as I'm getting further and further and further away from the stage, I'm realizing some things about myself as a person, as Anjuli, lowercase, as a person, that I never would have been able to realize had I continued to just stay Anjuli caps on the stage. I realized a lot of this stuff felt like a costume to me because it was just simply a costume. All of me was just drag, and the version of me that existed outside of that, the version of me that existed with my partners when we were just intimate together, the version of me that existed on my private Tumblr, the version of me that existed when I was just hanging out by myself and I felt happy and content with who I was not the person I presented on stage. Not derogatorily, just not the same person. And so over the past year, I've been kind of going through this process of determining, I think I'm going to adjust you a little bit because I'm going to be going into this closet here. Let me make sure there's nothing weird. But over the past year, I've kind of been working on, what do I look like when I'm off the stage? How do I feel? That lighting change is an interesting thing. And I've come to realize everything about me that makes me happy is kind of the antithesis of what we are taught and known through society, like gender. Does that really matter? To me, matters to other people. Don't get it twisted. But to me, do I care about pronouns in a specific way? And if I do care, what does that look like? My look. How does that feel when I am out of the drag? Because if I am so adamant that this feels like drag, what do I look like out of drag then? That means there's a version of me that exists outside of that. And how does that feel? And as I'm constructing my experience, let me grab a book real quick. Someone close to me had a book come out in June, Pride Month, called DIY Body. And I'll have that link down below. But the phrase DIY is very heavy in my mind for that reason. Because specifically, quite a few poems in this book, it's a poetry book, quite a few poems in this book talk about the experience of curating your existence through karaoke nights. Anybody that knows me knows I love a karaoke night. And so that sentiment spoke heavily to me because karaoke nights for me were drag nights. They were nights when I would go out in drag and then sing and perform my little heart out and do my thing in drag. And everybody I met as capital Anjuli in drag, and nothing I could form was authentic or real because all of it was done through drag. Because who was I? I did not know who I was outside of that. And so I was using karaoke nights to curate more of this image that didn't need any more fleshing out. Because the truth of the matter is, I'm already fleshed out in drag. I know who I am in drag. It's the me that I need to know who that person is, the lowercase Anjuli. And so I've started using karaoke nights now, much like in the book, started using karaoke nights now as a way to figure out lowercase Anjuli and what the vibe is there and how that feels to exist in that experience. And I have to tell you, I really, really, really do like myself. And for a long time, I didn't. For a long time, I felt very ugly, bad things about myself because when you take off all of the drag and then you're faced to confront people that are supposed to know you very closely, but they are also at wits, they are also battling this drag persona versus the real close you, and you can't even confront the real close you because you feel so bad about that person, you're never gonna win. You're never gonna unlock those secrets. You're never gonna figure them out. And I have figured them out. And I'm maneuvering how to express them in a way that feels good. I've done little things like, you can't tell right now because obviously I have this ginormous hairpiece on, but you've seen it in my other videos. I've started locking up my hair because I wanted my default character. Thinking of myself as a character sometimes helps a little bit. I wanted my default character to have a strong personal look, because one thing that always did frustrate me, multitasking. One thing that always did frustrate me was I always felt better in drag than I did as myself, because I put a lot of work into my drag. I put a lot of work into this persona. I put a lot of years into this shit. I should feel good about it, but I felt better about it than I did when I woke up in the morning. And that really frustrated me because nobody wants to feel that. Nobody wants to feel like shit about themselves when they wake up in the morning. And so adding locks to my default character, you know, they're starter, so they're not quite there yet. But adding them has been really helpful. I've but put jewelry back into my septum. I did kind of have to re-pierce my ears so that I have one earring in when I am just out and about in these streets. And I am living my life mostly non-gendered. But if you have to pick a gender, and I'm not in drag. When I'm in drag, it's fine. I don't care. And truly, honestly, I don't care really. I just don't really care that much anyway. I'm being honest. But if you really wanted to respect me, really wanted to do the right thing, yeah, I guess it would be he, right? And even as I say that out loud, I feel myself getting a little sweaty, a little clammy, because I've done a really, really amazing job at being a woman. I've done a really amazing job of curating myself as a woman because it was my fucking job. Because it was a thing that I was raised to do, and then it became my job. But now I'm ready to just be me. And that is nothing and everything all at once. That is understanding that part of my needs for my gender expression is getting back on the motherfucking stage and doing drag, because God, I couldn't just be one way forever. I'm not very good with boxes. I'm not very good with labels, as you can see, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be like they, he, but like also I don't really give a shit if you, she, her. Like I'm not very good with any of that. Don't ask me sexuality. Don't ask me nothing about anything. Just go with the flow, babe. Go with the flow. Because that's where I thrive, in the water of it all, wading in the water, going with the flow, the lazy river of life. I am so excited. I'm so excited, probably to the point where it's corny. I am so excited to be getting back on the stage, and I am so excited that my channel here is growing, and I feel like it's growing because I'm talking about shit that's fun to me. I'm talking about vampires. I'm talking about connections. I'm talking about what it feels like to live life as a vampire, as somebody who's been isolated, as somebody who's been, you know, lone wolf for their whole life because of, you know, being different. I'm so excited for all of these things that are happening in my life. I want to be able to enjoy them fully. I want to be able to enjoy them. I'm getting a little emotional here, friend. I want to be able to enjoy them and not feel like I'm keeping secrets that I don't need to keep anymore. Obviously, with the internet, we gotta have some boundaries, right? I don't want to keep me a secret anymore, though. I respect the persona, and I respect what she does for people. I respect how she entertains people. I respect how she shows up and does her thing. Like I said, I love her. I put a lot of work into her. But I also really love and respect myself. And one of the worst things that would come out of getting back on the stage and success here would be if I lost lowercase Anjuli again, because I don't want to lose me. And I say again, but to be honest, I feel like this is the first time I've ever had me. And I want to hold on to me really, really fucking tight. Because it's the fact that it's the first time I'm meeting me almost makes it sting even more, because I'm so sorry that you were abandoned so young. And I'm so sorry that all the cool kids and your family, your teachers, the adults in your life, you were alone a lot. And so you never really got to thrive. You never really got to do all the cool things that most kids got to do. I did get to do some cool things, but I never really got to be loved the way that I deserved to be loved by anyone, which means I didn't really get to love myself. And so I almost just feel like I can't lie. I can't keep this inside anymore. I can't keep it a secret, because I need to give some bravery to that young version of me who needed it. I don't know who you are, obviously. I don't know if this video popped up in your algorithm, showed up in your subscription feed, or if a friend sent this to you and you're like, why the heck did my friend send me this person who's just blabbering on about whatever the hell. I feel like if there was one thing that I wish I could do in this life, it would be to encourage all the people like me, young and old, deaf kids who weren't given a first language, black kids who are the only one in their school, gay kids who didn't know if anybody else was ever going to be gay too, trans kids who grew up in a time and didn't even know that that was a thing. I just want to encourage all the others out there to be themselves. No longer how long that takes for you to find it, it's not too late. And it's never too late to find your coven. It's never too late to find your people. And you might be a little fucking weird. I'm a little fucking weird. I am so weird, actually. But there are people willing to hold my hand while I be weird. And maybe ever so often say, hey, so that's not socially acceptable. But they're also willing to see me for all that I am and all that I could be, and believe in me and love me as I maneuver that process as well. You got people out there. And even if you have to live vicariously through me, which I do not advise, you have people out there. So until next time, bye.